In much knowledge, the Lord hath divided them and made their ways diverse. Meaning so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you have different ways from the other nations. You aren't to be worshiping idols. You aren't to be eating all types of foods, all types of abominable foods, like your shrimp, crab, and lobster. You're supposed to be a holy people unto the Lord. What's going on? Y'all see yourself on the sign right here? Yeah. Where would you be at on this sign right here?
I don't know.
Would you be a so-called Mexican?
Yeah.
So you're actually a descendant, you actually would be an Israelite according to the Bible. Let me show you this real quick. This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 15, and verse 24. And it says, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So this is red letter, which means Christ is speaking. Jesus Christ is only speaking, he's only coming to save the people that's on this list right here, and nobody else. That's according to the scriptures, what I just read right here. So you will be a so-called Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. You're one of God's holy and chosen people. When you look at this right here, these are the so-called Mexicans. Mexicans, this means you're from the land of Mexico. They call you also Hispanic. Where did that word Hispanic come from? Do you know? It means pertaining to Spain, meaning property of Spain. You're not a property of Spain. These Spaniards, the gringo is a so-called white man. That's what that is. These are your people right here being led by the conquistadors into slavery, into bondage right here. This right here is the so-called Native Americans right here. Over 1 million buffalo were killed in 1 year time span because of the so-called gringo right here. So according to the Bible, these curses happen to us is because we broke the Most High's commandments. The reason why you don't know that you are an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar is because of this right here. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. It says, the ox knoweth his owner. So the ox is a dumb animal, right? But it knows his owner, who his owner is. And the ass, which is a donkey, his master's crib, meaning he knows how to get back home. But Israel doth not know. So Israel, the people on this sign, we don't know that we're God's chosen people. It says, my people doth not consider. I mean, we don't even care that we're God's chosen people. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verse 2. It says, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. It says, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. So we have discontinued from knowing that we are God's chosen people, that our native language is Hebrew. The Aztecs spoke a dialect of Hebrew called Nahutu. That's the dialect of Hebrew that the Aztecs spoke. It says that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. Right here, we are about to serve our enemies. Being led in these with these chains on our necks, we're serving our enemies in the land that we don't know, because we're originally from Israel. That's where our people come from. It says, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So we made the Most High angry. Let's see why we made the Most High angry. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15 right here. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Hearken means to listen. If we don't listen to what the Most High says, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. These are curses that came upon us because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Listen to this right here. This is verse 22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption. When the so-called Spaniards came to Mexico and whatnot, what did they give them? What diseases did they give them? Yellow fever. They gave them measles. They gave them mumps. They gave them all types of ailments and diseases because they were so nasty and dirty, right? This is in the Bible. It says, the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword. The conquistadors, the gringos, they came here scalping our people, your people, with a sword, right? It says, and with the sword, with blasting, meaning that cannon blasted at them, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish, right? Let me jump down to verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes. Y'all were known for y'all corn, y'all crops and all that type of stuff, y'all cattle, y'all livestock y'all had, right? The Native American, they had all these buffalo. They were known for that. It says, thine ox, which is this right here, shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Meaning, this was done for trophy, for sport. Native Americans use this for food. They use it to build houses, for clothing. They use every part of the ox, the buffalo. But it was all killed in front of them, and they didn't get no use of it at all. It says, thine ass shall be violently taken away from thee, from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. I mean, you didn't get none of this back. Right now, today, if we were to go kill a buffalo right now, it's a $100,000 fine by the federal government for us killing a buffalo, right? And they have the audacity to do this to us and whatnot, when they're the ones that did this right here for sport, for fun. It says, not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Verse 33, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Meaning our people are going to be destroyed and crushed forever, always. Let me jump down to verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword. An astonishment and a proverb and a byword means this right here. When so-called black men being called a nigger, so-called Mexicans being called wetbacks. Those are proverbs and bywords that we are now being called. When we used to be called God's chosen people. When we used to be called an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. It says, a proverb and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. I mean, we're going to be called this everywhere. Let me jump over to verse 54. It says, so that the man that is tender among you, before we used to have a tender relationship amongst our people, right? It says, and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother. Meaning we're not going to have an evil eye amongst our brothers. We're not going to like each other anymore. And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Let me jump down to verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods. We're serving other gods right now. This right here is who they say Jesus Christ is. The Bible doesn't say he looks nothing like this. The Bible actually describes him as looking like a so-called black man. That's in the Bible, not some blonde-haired, blue-eyed gringo. It says, verse 64, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. The wood and stone is what? The wood is symbolizing the cross, and the stone symbolizing Islam, Muslims, because they pray to that stone over there in Mecca. That's what our people are now into, Islam, and they're also into Christianity. So with that little information that that I've told you right now, who is this talking about? What group of people is this talking about? Who does these curses fit? Us. So we will be, by default, we would be the children of Israel. We'll be God's chosen people. Now let me ask you a quick question. Do you eat pork? Do you eat El Pastor? Okay, so let me read the scripture to you. Because the reason why these curses happen to us is because we ate El Pastor. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse 7. And the swine, El Pastor, right? Though he divideth the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. So El Pastor is unclean to us. It says, of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. That is an unclean animal. Yeah. The pig is actually supposed to clean up the area. We're not supposed to ingest it and eat that. Let me ask you something. Do you eat shrimp, crab, or lobster? So you look at this right here. This is a shrimp, and this is a cockroach. They have the same biological makeup. The shrimp, they keep the ocean clean. The lobster keeps the ocean clean. The crabs keep the ocean clean. They're not for consumption for us to eat. Let me read this right here. This is verse 9. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales. So we only can eat animals that have fins and scales on it. It says, in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. Verse 10. And all that have not fins and scales, the shrimp, the crab, the lobster, it doesn't have fins and scales on it. In the rivers of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. Meaning we're supposed to hate that thing. We're not supposed to deal with it at all. So the reason why these curses happen to us is because we broke God's law right here. So what we got to do back as a people, and what I'm teaching and what's going across the whole world, is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, and that Christ is coming back really, really soon. And if you are not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you're going to be destroyed. And that's why we got to come back to who we are. Let me get a flyer, man. Let me get you a flyer. You on YouTube? You are? Okay, this is a flyer right here. It has who we are as a people and what we're teaching. You can Google on, or you can YouTube Hebrew Israelites. We're all across everywhere. You can look at the flyer and study it. But you guys will be Israelites from the tribe of Issachar. Now, I'm gonna give you 3 questions before I let y'all go. Right? What did you learn today? In this short amount of time period, what did you learn? Issachar, right? Okay. What else? Got a scourge, right? So we can't eat like certain foods. We can't eat. We can't eat no pig. We can't eat no shrimp, crab, and lobster. We can't eat that. There's substitutes for that. You can eat like, if you like bacon, you can eat turkey bacon. You know, if you like pepperoni, it's turkey pepperoni. So we went inside those curses because of for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Let me give y'all one more before y'all take off. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9, because it's going to be something that's going to happen to the people that did this to us. The so-called gringo, he did this to my people, so-called blacks. They hung us. They hung you guys as well. The so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics. This has happened to us. So God is a just God. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. So both of y'all have ears on your head, right? Let's see what Christ says. He that leadeth into captivity. So who led us into captivity? Yes, the gringos. Their biblical name is Esau, according to the Bible. They led us into captivity. The British led us in captivity. The Spaniards led us into captivity. The Europeans, they all led us into captivity. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So the same way they had us in chains, the same way they put yokes of iron on our necks and stuff like that, this is in the Bible right here. Shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword. So they killed our people with the swords. They fed our babies to alligators so they can get some snakeskin boots and snakeskin belts on. They did this to our people right here. They stumped this young brother saying that he whistled at a white woman. They stumped his face in ways unrecognizable right here. This is stuff that they did to our people right here. It says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So this is what's going to happen to the people that did this to us right here. You know, this church right here is a church in Spain. They made this church out of the bones of the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Hispanics. These are bones that they had of your ancestors for a church. That's how sick these people are right here. So we got to wake up to who we are, our true nationality as being Israelites. Do you guys know about the Sabbath day? No? Well, today is the Sabbath day. This is, huh? Right. We lost our identity because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That's why we lost who we are as a people. So today is actually the Sabbath day. So this is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 8. It says, verse 9. So yeah, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. So we're supposed to do all our work in 6 days, right? But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughters, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So he made this day separate and hallowed. If you got a phone on you, if you pull up your a calendar on your phone, what is the 7th day? Huh? Watch this. What is the 7th day on your phone say? The 7th day. Saturday, right? Sunday will be the first day of the week. But see, the so-called gringo changed times. So Sunday is actually the first day of the week. The 7th day of the week is actually Saturday, the 7th day. And they have confused us and told us that we're supposed to be worshiping on the Sunday, which is off. We don't have no connection with our God by worshiping on the wrong day of the week. Right, let me show you this right here. This is the book of Daniel. Because it's this, everything I'm saying, I have to read it from the scriptures because it's all prophesied to happen. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. You see that? And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of time. So the so-called gringo, he's the one that kept us out of our laws, statutes, and commandments by changing these times, making us confused, not teaching us who we are. He took our whole identity away from us. You guys have any questions so far? No? So yeah, so you'll be Israelites from the tribe of Issachar. I'm out here every Sabbath day, which is Saturday, teaching who we are as a people. You actually, brother, you're supposed to be out here teaching with me because you are Israelite. And we're supposed to wake up our people in these last days to who we are. You know? So we can get up out of this thing right here because we ain't supposed to be living like this right here. You know, how are people living in Mexico? Bad, right?